We're now inviting our second speaker. The farming community is a community that is greatly affected by the level of services, especially emergency services, available to us. And we're very lucky at the present time that the President of the Ulster Farmers Union is in himself a good, decent phenomenon. So I'd like to introduce you now David Browne, President of the Ulster Farmers Union.
Thank you folks for that welcome, and I'm going to fit into my 3 minutes just a commendation on behalf of all of us to Pauline and the team, and I'd like you to give them a huge round of applause. But they're the people who are working every day on this. We come along here and do our piece. The first invitation I got to speak on this subject was down in a hotel in Irvinstown just around about a year ago, and I remember well, Pauline, that conversation from those in the representing the trust at that point that this was temporary. The first thing I want to do though is I suppose recognise within our community those who work in our health workforce, those who actually are under that pressure, under that strain of I suppose at the end of the day not being well staffed, not being well covered, and that applies to much more than just the consultants and the doctors, and those who care for us when we need them most. Deserve recognition for the strain and the pressure that they have taken through all of this. I suppose I'm conscious as well that for years we've been listening to commentary around the need of strategic reform of our health service. I get the opportunity as President of the Ulster Farmers Union to go to political conferences. I've been a few weeks ago to the DUP conference Friday and yesterday at Ardèche down in Athlone. And we need those politicians when they get back into Stormont to first and foremost put that as a priority in terms of that strategic reform of our health services and of those things which obviously are at the forefront of our minds here this afternoon. Those of us living in rural areas cannot but be conscious of the map that is behind us that Father Darcy has alluded to earlier. The fact that that golden hour is something that fundamentally for rural dwellers, and I'm not just including farmers in that, in the Ulster Farmers Union we have rural dwellers as members as well, and they are deeply affected by decisions that are taken that leave them as second-class citizens and leave them outside of that golden hour that we emphasise and is so important to us. Our farms, and not just alone here in Fermanagh but throughout the country, are not alone places of work, they are also homes. They are, by their very nature, unfortunately and sadly, dangerous places. And this is a statistic I can say without interference of being corrected, and it's not one I'm proud of. But you're 18 times in the UK more likely to have an accident in the workplace on a farm than any other workplace. 18 times more likely to need attention, need care, need the critical care, and also the ambulances and the service that we need. And we thank the government and those who support our air ambulance, because ultimately all of us as contributors may in the past have contributed to that service. But fundamentally getting us to that location where we can get the care in the first instance when the worst happens, we need all of those services. And I suppose ultimately the vital importance of having emergency treatment close at hand. And Pauline has alluded to instances where the ladies and those who are pregnant need those services. Sadly, I get text messages from the Health and Safety Executive relating to accidents that happen on farms. That's something that is given to me confidentially. I have had opportunity to visit some of those places, and recognising the fact that those people feel a vulnerability. We feel vulnerable in rural areas because our banks, our post offices, our GP services, all are under threat. But no more so vulnerable than when we realise that our hospital and the acute services that we're here to ask be retained are under threat. So I suppose in terms of those from the farming community, in conclusion, I can say that we are with you, we're with this team who want to see those services retained, because we too feel that vulnerability and we too need retention of those services. Thank you.